At PolicyLink, we believe that we are the founders of a nation yet to be born. We know from the history of the organizations that are represented in our conversation today what we can do together to create powerful change as founders of democracy. Together, we have the ability to shape the future and unlock endless possibilities.
The Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment promises to abolish distinctions of caste in law and society. This notion that some people matter more than others, and to provide meaningful equality for all. The constitutional mandate of equal protection directs the government to offer all people, protection from and remedy of the effects of these destructive forces in order to affirmatively advance equity for all. And it gave the responsibility and authority for this to Congress. And while we are beneficiaries of landmark civil rights legislation fought for by countless courageous and committed leaders of the civil rights movement, we once again find ourselves fighting for the rights and privileges of citizenship that should already be ours.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in the workplace, on the school or college campus, those are not technically required by law, but they certainly are responses to law. There are ways that companies and workplaces and schools have designed and devised to comply with their obligations under federal civil rights law, specifically the Civil Rights Act in 1964. There's this phrase of illegal DEI that we see in executive orders coming from the White House. At its heart, what these strategies are doing is it's convincing people that Black people are the problem, that brown people are the problem, that differently abled people, that queer people, that women are the problem that America must solve. We have seen this playbook before in other countries in the authoritarian playbook.
Each of us has a role to play, not just because we're heads of institutions, but everybody has to get involved, right? So do that in your local community to find ways to build bridges across race and ethnicity and the like, class as well. And it may be that you're fighting because they're taking away something that impacts everyone. But we got to start.
At PolicyLink, we really do acknowledge the many roles that are necessary to deliver a nation that works for all, from defenders to organizers to dreamers and builders, different roles, same goal.
And so we have to basically bring the law actually into not just the 21st century, but to see beyond. And that's going to mean at some point we need new types of laws, not just to cover certain issues, but new laws that give us a sense of not just what people can't do to us in terms of negative rights, but also positive rights. Positive rights to housing, to educational opportunity, to safety from state violence by the police or vigilante violence by white supremacists. We need those types of principles that are often part of international human rights treaties to be part of U.S. law, even though we don't tend to ratify those treaties here in the U.S. I think that's the next wave. We have seen at least two reconstructions in this country, one after the Civil War, that really remade the nation through blood, sweat, and tears, but also through the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, essentially, for the most part, outlawing indentured servitude, calling for equal protection of the laws, and providing that your right to vote shall not be abridged because of your race or your prior condition of servitude. We saw a second Reconstruction during and after the height of the Civil Rights Movement that brought us more blood, sweat, and tears, but also that moral clarity, once again, and also yielded the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, the Fair Housing Act of 1968. So we have to ask ourselves, now look myself in the mirror and I talk to my staff about what's next. What are we going to contribute? What's the next great third Reconstruction? Right now, we threaten to be in a period of deconstruction, where all that we know and that we rely upon is being dismantled. We have to fight back on that, but we also have to fight forward to what's next as well.